Okay guys, in this session we are going to create the ears of our character. In the previous sessions we created the blockout for the head and the body, and we created the eyes. I will put the link on the top corner of this video and in the description below, in case you didn't watch those videos. Okay, as you can see in the reference picture, these are the shapes in the ears that we are aiming for. So let's create them. The first thing that we can do is to add the volume to the edges of our ears. So here I prefer to just block out the ears like the thing that we did for the eyes, in order to make the process much simpler. And with this method we can keep the ear separated from the head and Dynamite move it around. So I append a circle into the scene and make it roughly the size of the ears. I want to create the edges of the ears first so that we have a defined silhouette of the ears. Here I hide the parts of the circle that we don't need. Those are the parts that are joined to the head and are not part of the ears. After hiding those parts, I delete them and close the hole in order to the end of the circle be closed. Now I want to shape the ears. I mask the parts that are already in place and move the parts that are not. This shape is the purple shape that you see in the reference picture. I try to make it like that. So if you're wondering what I'm trying to do, you can just look at the purple shape in the reference picture. As you can see, there's nothing hard or particular. I just moving things around, smoothing things, and try to make the shapes like the reference. That's the beauty of blocking out, and it makes your process much easier. That end of the purple shape will go inside. It may not be obvious in the reference picture, but that end will go inside and the other end will end in the earlobes. I append the sphere and resize it in a shape that makes the earlobes, as you can see here. In the eye session, I explained why we use this method, the blocking out method. It has so many benefits, and as you can see here, we can create the shapes of the ears with ease without worrying about creating things destructively. We can always move things around, add volume, decrease the volume, change the placement, and even if we mess something, we can just replace that particular part. We don't need to create everything from the start or just trying to make things right again and again and again and fail. Here, as you can see, I just try to create the shape of the earlobe without touching the edges that I created earlier. And now I append another sphere to create the shape in the end of earlobes that connects to the head. That small shape that you will see in front and in the side. As you can see the name in the reference picture, of course. It's a small shape, but it gives the look of the ears. Generally, creating ears is not a hard process to do, but every single and little detail in the ears will make it wrong or right. Because the shape and the look is easy to remember, you need to implement everything in the ears in order to be correct. But everything is easy to create in the ears, especially with this method, with the blocking out method. Now I append another sphere and resize it in order to create the yellow part, the Y shape inside the ears. You can see this part with the yellow color, and like always, I hide the parts that I don't need and delete them and close the opened holes from hiding and deleting. I just move it in place so that I can sculpt it. And like always, remember to check it from every angle. In many people, this part extrudes the ear edges in the front view. So keep in mind that you can bring the middle part of this yellow part outside. The edges of the ear that we created earlier and this part connected to each other, but there is an indentation between those two. We are not hitting the shapes look from the backside or front side yet. We're just trying to create a look or a shape from the side view to match the reference picture. Then we are going to move things around and fix the position or the shapes from every other angle. For the parts that ended in the ear hole in the head, we can just add another shape and shape it in place, then merge that with the head. But because it's an easy shape, I just sculpt them on the head. Now I merged on one ear that we created the shapes with the head in order to Dynamesh together and fix the shapes from this point on. Because the big shapes of the ear are in place, we just need to connect everything together and smooth them and make the final adjustments. Here, as you can see, I Dynamesh that, and as you know in the eyes video, when we Dynamesh, we lose some definitions. We need to sculpt those definitions again into the ears. So I smooth things that are messed up in the process of Dynameshing ears with the head. Then after everything was clear and fine, I just reshape everything, resculpt the details in order to make the final ear shape. As you can see in the back of the ears, the shape of the ears are not correct. In the back, the edges of the ears are not in the same level of the bridge between the head and the ears. If you look it in another perspective, there is an indentation between the head and the ears. Now I try to flat this part because it shouldn't be that much indented, and then it will connect to the ear hole. I will refine every shape from the side view for now to look more like the reference picture. The overall shape of the ear is not correct. As you can see, it should be more oval, but we will target that later. For now, I carved the ear hole so it will be more prominent from the side view. And here I see that I forget to mirror the ears before I Dynamesh them to the head. It's not that big of a deal. We can always mirror the whole face or the whole head, but remembering to mirror the shape before Dynameshing it always saves you a lot of trouble. Especially when you try to create the realistic characters because they are not symmetric, and most of the time they are asymmetric. That's one of the rules of your character being realistic. So if you make some mistake like this, you need to mirror the whole head and again make the character asymmetric. Now I carve the indentation between the head and the ear. As I said before, in top of the ears, as you can see, it shouldn't be connected like this. The indentation should be more prominent so it will disconnect the head and the ears in the top part. So I try to implement that shape with carving in those parts and smoothing, looking from the front view to see what the results should be. Then I just moved the edges of the ears in place because they were bumping out too much. If you look at the reference picture, the shape of the ears from behind is something like this, something like an S shape, and a smooth S shape, of course. So make sure to implement that and don't make it straight. The amount of this difference, of course, varies between different people, so we can create it exaggerated and then smooth things if we don't like things that we see. From the front view, as you can see, the ears are good enough, but they still have things to be fixed from other views. For the ears, as you can see, I turned off the perspective until now because I wanted to see the ears from the front view clearly. If you turn on the perspective, part of the ears will hide behind the face, because in perspective the ears are more far away from the camera than the nose and mouth and face itself. So you can see part of the ears hidden behind the face. And because I wanted to create the anatomy of the ears first, I want to see that from the front view. So I turned off the perspective, and later when the anatomy of the ears are correct, we can turn on the perspective and adjust it as we like in the perspective mode, because that's the final result that we see in the renders and in the game engines. Keep in mind, as you can see in the reference, the ears should be parallel to the nose. Because we don't have the nose right now, we just need to guess where is the position, and later we can change that. But even if we don't want to change that, the little offset is not something important. As you all know, there are different ears in different people. The distance between the eyes and the ear is 1 ear. If you turn the ear 90 degrees until it will become horizontal, there should be 1 eye distance between the end of the eyebrow and the ears. Okay, here as you can see in the deformation tab, I click on the mirror in order to bring the ear, the fixed ear, to the left side, because in the ZBrush we can mirror the left side to the right side. So I mirrored it to the left side, and then I go to the tools menu, modify topology, and click on the mirror and weld. Keep in mind, if you use the mirror function in the Z plugin, your models do not merge together, and it's almost two models that are pushed together and things will be messed up. So we need to go to the modify topology and click on the mirror and weld. This option will weld the two models together and make it one. It may create seams in the middle of the model, but at least you have welded model and you don't have further problems later down the line. There's a seam in the middle if you look at the topology, but you don't see it in the model. Even if you see that, you can just smooth the seam, and if you lose some detail, you can resculpt those details. Here I duplicated the head mesh and delete everything except one eye in order to rotate it, and as I said to you before, measuring the distance between the end of the eyebrow and the ears. As you can see, there is a little bit of difference between those two. They might be because our ears is too much back, or the size of the ears are too small. If you want the size to be small and that's your reference, something that you want in the reference, it's fine. You just need to bring the ears forward just like me. My ears might be a little bit small. I don't know if I want to make them bigger or not. Let us just bring the ears forward and decide for the size later. If you find it too small, we will increase the size of the ears. I just fixed this shape here in order to be more natural. And the back of the ear, as you can see, there is a bridge between head and ears. Other parts are indented and make separation between those two shapes, but in the middle there is a bridge that keeps things together. So make sure to implement that just like this. As you can see, I indented more the top part and the bottom part of the ears, but keep the shape in the middle in order to be the connecting shape. I add a little bit of the volume to the edges of the ears to give them something cylindrical. Another thing that bothers me is the earlobe. It's too flat. It should be more bumpy and inflated more. I didn't see that when I sculpted the ears, but keep in mind that inflate it more. That's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to create the nose for our character. And keep in mind, everything that we create in this anatomy, we will retouch later down the line when we see things together. There's nothing final when you create the first shapes. Of course, there's no perfections. You always have things to fix, but we will fix things throughout creating our character. And when we create overall face and we texture that, even if we see things that are wrong, we just don't touch that. Remember that we are not going to create a perfect character. We just want to learn the anatomy along the way, creating a character for the games. If you have the time, you can always put more time into your character and make it more perfect. But in my opinion, creating a character and finishing it and starting from the scratch again and again is more important than focusing on one part or one character for, I don't know, 1 month, 2 months to create everything perfect. So create your character, try to make the anatomically right, fix things that you see later until you finish the overall character. Then even if you see things, just ignore them. Create your character, publish it, finish your project, and start another project. Okay, if you like the video, please hit the like and subscribe to the channel. More videos like this will be uploaded soon, and the next sessions of this course will be uploaded. I will increase the speed of uploading these sessions so that we finish this course as soon as possible. Don't worry, I will increase the speed. So until the next video that we create the nose for our character, have a great day. Bye bye.